right, here we are, all three of us in a room again. And I don't think that's happened since... Actually, I was thinking about this when I was waiting on you guys. That hasn't happened since before I even knew I was going to be doing a movie.
This is true.
I think. Because the last time was when Caitlin was here. Yep. You had just come off... I don't remember what you had just come off. I feel like it was One Crazy Christmas.
Probably was.
Yeah. So yeah, it was that long ago. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about. A lot of catching up to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll just start with the elephant in the room.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I've done so much talking about Mystery Spot already.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'd be interesting to hear your... Well, what's so funny?
Nothing. Go ahead.
You've already got some stuff in the chamber?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I would be very interested in hearing what your thoughts are, both of your thoughts are, on the film, now that we're, 2 months away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the first assembly done, so it's been that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just what did you guys think? Who wants to go first?
Brittany.
I was passing it to me.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say because I don't want to say I'm not surprised because I feel like we've talked so much about these films and how to sort of do them correctly that, I'm not surprised at how easy it seemed. But I think a lot of that credit goes to you, Mel, because you shot to edit. You knew what you wanted, you knew what you needed to get, and I feel like there's been so many films where directors want to shoot almost every emotion and every angle because they don't know exactly how it's gonna come together in the editing bay. But you had a really clear vision, so it just seemed easy. It helps the location. Obviously, we kind of had our one location, and that helps. I mean, I don't really have any complaints other than our, couch of death that seemed to suck all of the energy out of me when I sat on it, which is kind of a funny, careful what you wish for, because every film that I do, other than one that I can think of, I have to stand. And I'm always like, I wish I had a desk or somewhere to sit, and I had somewhere to sit this time, but it kind of made me tired, so I had to stand a lot more than I wanted, so... But no, that was pretty much it. I just, I think the acting was great in it, and everyone, the team that we assembled just worked really well, and it helped that we had all kind of worked together in some capacity anyway, but, I mean, it just, I don't know, it was awesome. It was refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of my overall, yeah.
All right. Chris, what do you think?
I think refreshing is a great word. Seeing as how literally there's so many movies that we've all been on that have just been really hard to work on, really hard to deal with. Some that have put us in hospitals, let's put it that way. Just really tough and stressful, and they shouldn't be, when reality is coming from you, Mel, like Brittany said, you knew what you wanted, you knew how you wanted to shoot it. You and Ken were like a symbiotic relationship. It was weird because literally, he would be like, I think I want to do this, and you're like, I already had that in my mind. You already knew. You both were on the same wavelength, which was great, and it wasn't like one was trying to do something that the other didn't, which we've dealt with a million times.
Right.
I mean, there's just so many things that came together that on most movies don't, and it was just kind of this crazy, awesome thing that happened, and everybody was just down. Nobody was complaining, nobody was upset. It was just like we all just knew what we were doing, knew what we were making, and we had a great time doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's no complaints on my end either. It was just, I mean, there was a comment. There was 2 ADs in the room pretty much the entire time, so, which was weird for me because I'm so used to doing what you do, so we both were kind of doing each other's job.
Yeah.
As far as the AD stuff.
Right,
And I wasn't trying to do yours, obviously. I didn't want to. But as far as the AD stuff.
Yeah, I didn't want to either. We'll get to that. I mean, well, I've already been over it, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the AD stuff, you were constantly, you knew that I was kind of understaffed and didn't have a whole lot of help, so you were jumping in, which helped a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it helped everybody, to be quite honest. And we all knew that, like, from the get-go. It was like, we're all here, we're all just going to help each other and make a great movie. So, yeah, I mean, that's... And from what I've heard and have seen just a little bit of, it looks like it's going to be fucking awesome. So.
Oh, yeah. Like, I got so... Well, that's not true. I didn't not realize, I guess, once I started that it was, something special was coming together, because... Initially, when I first started it, because, I had to do this amongst doing a ton of other shit, like always, so it's like I had to piece together the edit, like when I could, like, okay, Friday night, Saturday morning for a few hours, I couldn't just dedicate 2 or 3 back-to-back days to do it.
Right.
But I was actually getting so much done in those little windows of time, because just of how we shot things, of how the performances were, of how good the sound was, you know what I mean? Just like, there was no like, fuck, I'm gonna have to work around this. And then, Brittany's, your notes, I told you, like, I was like, God, these help me so much. So it's like, I would come in here and think, oh, I'm gonna get 5 minutes done maybe. And I would get up to go to lunch and I'd have 3 scenes done.
Right.
Long ones, and it was because of all of those things, it was, I wouldn't really have to piecemeal things together like I have in the past. And I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, if anything, I'm blaming myself, for that stuff. Just knowing what to shoot and what I need and when I'm going to hang on something. But yeah, and the things that I thought that were going to take the longest to put together were the quickest, like Scene 61.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was like, okay, this whole weekend is going to be that, right?
Yeah.
It was 2 or 3 weekends ago. And because we have set deadlines to get this stuff done for lots of reasons that we'll get into later down the line. But so I blocked out a weekend. It was when Melanie and Reagan were at camp. I knew I'd have just a weekend just to do that, And after the first day, after maybe the first 7 hours of the first day, I was like, well, shit, Scene 61's done.
Yeah.
Here we go, 62, So I got through... In that weekend, I thought I was only going to get that one scene done, and I ended up getting up to the last, 10 minutes of the movie.
Wow.
And then I only stopped because I was like, you know what, I probably should stop and come back fresh. But that's how quickly things were falling together. And, again, I think that's a reflection of, the entire experience and how we put it together and everybody being on their game. And I know that it's not just me, because so now that I've got the assembly done, I've sent it out to the people that sort of need to start seeing it at this point. And, producers are one thing because they were kind of there too. So, their minds could be a little fuzzy as far as like rose-colored glasses.
Right.
But I sent it to one of the guys that I'm thinking of for doing the music. And again, it's super rough assembly. Like, you can still hear us in certain parts, whatever. And I sent it to Josh, and he was he emailed me back, and he's like, dude, this was so good. He's like, I was on the edge of my seat, and I was rooting for this person. I was like, wow, like, you're rooting for somebody at this point.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fuck, if it's that good already, if that compelling already, well, it can only get better.
Right.
So yeah, I'm pretty psyched about everything so far. Even the bad stuff, which we can't talk about, you guys know what I'm talking about. But even the when you say bad, I mean, it's bad, sure. It's just things we have to deal with. That's what I'm saying. Like, I have that attitude towards it. I'm just like, it's just something that we'll figure out. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
So, and it's not, and everybody feels that way too. So it's not going to be something that. It's not a battle that I already feel like I'm going to be, fighting every day for the next 2 years. I already feel pretty positive about it at this point. So yeah, was there anything that you can think of that sort of, I guess, surprised you, came out of nowhere, and you're like, holy shit, I didn't know that was gonna turn out the way it did, or just unexpected, good or bad?
So a good thing for me. I was not dreading in a bad way. It was just more like, oh shit, what are we actually going to do here with the mystery spot, and towards the end. And like, once the lighting came together and Ken started shooting, I was like, holy this is like even better than what I ever imagined in my head.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was just a surprise to me. Not that I didn't think Ken could do it or that we could do it as a whole. It was just one of those, like, holy shit, this is a big space. How are we going to do this with such a limited amount of people?
Exactly.
And just the fact that we, like, did it so fast and it looked so amazing. It was just like, shit, this blew me away, you know? So,
yeah. I would concur. And even going back through the edit, knowing that stuff was there, but just like kind of, you know, not thinking about it until I needed to think about it. Going back and looking at it and going, fuck, holy shit, there's so much to use.
Yeah.
I have so many choices instead of like, okay, god damn it, I'm locked to this one way to show this one thing, and that's hopefully everybody gets it. And then just discovering like the stuff that you guys would go shoot after just for the love of the game. You know? And that bailed me out in a couple places, but also like I know I'm going to put more of that in eventually when we. But yeah, just and that's the, like, to quote Debbie, the night that we were here shooting the police stuff, she's like, "That's what happens when someone cares," you know, like that's exactly it, you know. And fortunately for this one, everybody cared, you know, which was rare, which is maybe not even rare. It may be the first time that's happened for me. So Brittany, surprises, thoughts?
Well, I mean, surprises, like, what was it, within the first, like, 3 days where we shot, like, 6 extra scenes.
Oh, yeah. Jesus
Christ,
to catch up. I mean, that was, I think, the first time that I've ever shot. I don't want to say, because there's been days on other sets where I've shot things that weren't slated, but it's because we replaced it with something. Like, that was probably the first time ever that I've shot what was slated for the day, plus not just one scene, but like 9 others. And so that was a surprise. I've never done that before.
Right.
And I think it helped us. I think it not only helped us probably later in scheduling and having time, but I think it helped everybody to also gain more confidence. I mean, we were all confident going into it because we all did really care about the project, like you said, but it just sort of helped reassure us that, you know, this is just going to be a good shoot. And you know, everyone's morale just sort of goes up from there. So that was cool. Yeah,
I would agree. But of course, in my own dark way, when I heard people saying that stuff, like the first, second, third day, when we really kind of were pulling ahead, you know? And I remember Ryan was like, "Man, I've never been on a movie where we like wrapped early," you know? And Katie said the same thing too. And then instead of me sort of being like, "Yeah, we're doing it," I was like, "Fuck, am I fucking up? Like, what I forget?"
No.
You know, like I started thinking like that, or did we get enough? But then I went back and looked at the stuff real quick, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's fine." Yeah. What am I worried about? But yeah, that definitely helped, and you could tell it would set people up to be okay for those nights that were going to be more brutal. I don't think anything was especially brutal, comparatively. I mean, it sucks to shoot overnight, no matter what. But you know, everybody's ready going into it. Yeah, you know, because they knew that we weren't fucking around and spending a lot of time on stuff we didn't need to spend time on, so that we got, like, honestly, back to 61, because that's like the way you can measure. You know, that's the steak. You know, like where you go to a restaurant and you get the steak to like compare. There are probably 4 legitimate ways I could have cut that scene together, at least. You know, we got we overshot, but it's just their choices and like, what do I want to focus on and things like that. So it was nice to dig into that, thinking, oh shit, you know, I'm gonna have to, like I've had to do in the past, where you have to make concessions or just hope that you can sell something in sound design or you know, cheat something, you know. Not the case. So once we got, and that was the weekend I was stressing the most about, because overnight, huge scene, everybody's in it, lots of action, people are moving all over the place, and that's the weekend Reagan worked, and I didn't know how that was going to go. Melanie and I just talked about this because once I got all her scenes in it, I'm like, fuck, these all work so well. We were both stressing it because it could have been a disaster.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do, yeah.
So once we got through that weekend, I was like, okay, we're good.
Smooth sailing.
Yeah, a lot of the anxiety kind of dissipated. So yeah, that was definitely a moment when I realized that we'd be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was another, I guess, I can think of maybe 5 or 6 times this happened during the shoot, but there would be these constant reminders that we were doing something cool. Like, I know that what would happen was we'd be shooting, and in the middle of a scene, Ken would turn around and look at me with like these gigantic saucer eyes. And you would do it sometimes, but people would be like, and then you see Ryan kind of react sometimes too. And that's, that would happen so often to where I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff's happening. So, yeah, it's nice that we got assembled the right people both behind and in front of the camera. Like when we started when that stuff started happening and going off, I was, really, that's when I really started getting excited about everything.
Yeah. Well, it was like Ken during the the one I remember the most of him like freaking out was during the dream sequence stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
When he landed that, he was just like
Yeah.
freaking out, like behind
Yeah.
the camera, like you couldn't believe how great it looked.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like, duh, like you're doing an amazing job. But still, he was just like so ecstatic, like that it turned out exactly how he wanted it, actually even more. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was really cool to see that, and just kind of going back to what you were saying, like those are moments that you're like, yeah, this is awesome, and we're in a great spot.
Yeah, I would have sometimes back when I would start editing and I got into the meat of it here. I would get to moments like that, and then I'd have to get up and like do like a victory lap. Like I'd get up and I'd be like, "Ooh, yeah," I was just like really excited. So I just have to walk around for a bit because I started to get the jitters. I was getting so excited. And again, that's not something that happens, I would say, very often, if ever, as far as like definitely at this stage of putting something together.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely says a lot about that.
Well, it was really cool. I think one of the times that I just got super excited about the shots was at the mystery spot, especially when we incorporated Reagan.
Yeah.
No, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like that was the first time I was like, this is. It was nice because you allowed people to be creative too. Because I know Ken came in and was like, hey, it'd be really cool if we could like shoot it this way, and you would like do it, yes, and it just kept adding to it, and I don't know. I think that was an exciting moment, and then the weird fog that we set in amongst that entire field. The one day was a little bizarre. Creepy, but
yeah.
But I remember Ken just being like, "Oh my god, this is creepy, we gotta go." Like he was just like freaking out.
Oh
like,
yeah, he's right too because it looks so good. All that stuff, all the mystery spot stuff. Again, like you mentioned, something that I thought, or I was worried a little bit about.
Yeah.
Just because that's. We're still low budget movies, so it's hard to pull shit like that off.
Yeah.
And Jen did a great job, for sure.
Right.
But, some things you just can't.
There's just not feasible.
Yeah, if you shoot it just the wrong way, it looks like a low budget movie. But yeah, between what she built and then how he lit it, it is amazing. Like, again, there's in a situation where I thought I'd have to pick and choose, like, oh. I'm going to have to use this shot of it or maybe this, and then we'll piece it together. I could have put it in there. I could have shown more of it, which is always good, So right now it's very much like the shark in Jaws.
Nice.
Like you just see it when you need to. And it's awesome.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. But yeah, especially at the end when shit really starts going down. All that whole night that we shot where it was, really foggy and everything, looks amazing, and it's, and that's really like when you when you sit down and watch the movie linearly, that's kind of the first time that any of those type of visual cues start to creep in, and then it's all just like, poof, which is I like the rhythm of it the way it is now. Even with, I don't know if I told you, but the movie ended up being, right now, it's over 2 hours, 2 hours 7 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's not with like the placeholder for credits I have is probably too short. Like there's no extra space in there. That's it's just with performances and letting things breathe and things like that. But the script I think is only 94 pages.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting because I got to a certain point and I was like, man, we're at 90 minutes already and it's like page 50.
Yeah.
Like, ooh. But it and I'm sure we'll trim stuff out. I don't know what yet. I kind of don't even want to think about it at this moment because I need to get back away from it a little bit. But I was, you're always worried, like, oh, fuck, are we going to make it to the finish line? Like, is there going to be enough? Or are things going to move too fast? Or, but no, everything is exactly as it should be, I think, as of right now.
Nice.
So, yep.
It's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yep. So now we just, music starts. I've got to do the pickup shots, which I'm waiting for the producer notes so I can do it all at once. And then that's pretty much it. Like I'll, dig into my next pass probably in the next week or so.
You have like a timeline or deadline you're trying to hit for?
Yes. Although, I think it's essentially the end of the year.
Okay.
It hasn't been accelerated any quicker than that for this other thing we're trying to hit. Also, I feel like we might have a little leeway too. But I do know that as far as Greg goes, our audio guy, like we're as soon as he finishes In the Blood, or I said it again, but I don't really care at this point.
Yeah, are we past that now?
Yeah, I don't think it matters. As soon as we finish IMAGO, quote unquote, I'm pretty much handing off, or close to that, I'm handing this off to him because he's got a window right now where he's not doing a bunch of, like the Adult Swim stuff that he does all the time in Lifetime. Like he's like, my December's pretty open, so it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm aiming for, in addition to us just trying to hit that other deadline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think it'll all go pretty quickly. Yeah.
Nice.
Any other final thoughts?
No.
No.
Not that I
Anything
can
we didn't do that you wish we had done?
Oh God. I don't think so. Not on my end, at least.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. I feel like if we would have done this like the week after or something, I might have had something, but I can't really think. It wasn't important enough to, remember, obviously. So no, I feel like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not ingrained. Like, there's nothing ingrained in my head that makes me go, oh, I wish we would have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that at all.
What about you? Is there anything?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't think so. Like, there was a time when, again, if you'd asked me right after, just because I was tired, I probably would have said things. But even then, I think I would have been hard pressed to really figure something out. And going through it, like, again, like I'm like, oh, there's no I wish I would have's.
Yeah.
I wish. Well, no, that's not true. Like at one time, I thought, I'm trying to say this without giving anything away. I wish we'd had more time with a certain character to add more creepy shit with that character.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
But we still kind of did it, and the level that we did it,
Yeah.
still it's as much as I would have used.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So it's not.
You're not really missing anything.
No, I don't think so. Like at the end of the shoot and thinking back about what we had, I thought that I would be missing stuff, but having put it together, I'm like, no, it's I think everything that needs to be there is there. And yeah, and I was worried about not only that, but establishing that character. You know, but the stuff that we shot, you know, with him, more than enough.
Yeah,
more than enough.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
So I don't feel. Yeah, I don't feel like anything's really missing from it. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Honestly, there's even stuff that we shot that I didn't use, like where certain things happen in the spot. I was like, no, it doesn't need to go that far. Like, this is enough.
Oh, okay.
You know? Yeah.
Now that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
like,
it's minor,
okay.
but it's like, I don't want to give anything away, but the mirror stuff, like,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could have done it.
Yeah.
But again, like that was, remember, that's towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, man, it's already like 2 hours. You know, we get it.
Yeah.
You get it.
Sure.
You know, you know. And also it's kind of going back and forth.
Right.
So it doesn't, you don't need to linger on it.
Got it.
You know. Now I say that right now.
You never know.
We may talk it through and be like, fuck, okay, let's put that stuff in. But I don't see it happening. I think it's like all that stuff is dramatically, I think, where it needs to be.
Okay.
I don't think, you know, it's nice to have the extra stuff, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess the short answer is no. Yeah, was there? I'm even trying to think of, man, I wish we had a person to do this. But no, nothing was really missing. I don't feel.
No, and I think.
I mean, Brittany was missing on the last day.
Come
Yeah, I mean,
on.
somebody decided she had to go somewhere.
I brought that up a long time ago. That was not.
There were times, like I would freak. This has probably happened 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And I would be editing, and I would be like, "Fuck, why can't I?" Because I would search. I'd have the reports up on that computer and edit on that one, and I would search and be like, "Okay, scene, I don't know,
whatever,
46. Fuck. Oh shit, did we not shoot it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, and then I'd have to think about it and be like, oh, it's probably on day 12.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, you know, it's on day 12. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess
I should have gone in there and added all of those scenes and just put, like, in bold letters, on day 12.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you've been like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So, there you go. There's my answer.
No,
I wish you had done
That's
that.
great.
No, it
That's
really,
the
I
one.
mean, I maybe spent 5 minutes cumulatively trying to
Yeah.
figure that out. Then after the first time, eventually, like, I would be like, oh, it's probably on that day. Yeah, so. Look like you're about to say something.
No, I mean, going back to like one of the other things that like really surprised me was, I mean, it wasn't surprised. Like I knew Graham was gonna kill it, but like that whole phone moment.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just remember looking at you like, that's yep.
Yeah, and again, remember that's something that didn't exist. Like
Yeah.
I came up with it
Yeah.
last minute because I was like, yeah, the cell phone thing, it's not working in this world, you know. It's
Yes.
and it's weird, and
Yeah.
we need to think of. And there was some other logistical reason why that wasn't going to work. And so I was like, fuck, let me try to bang these out. And again, I mean, much like the way I wrote the movie, I feel like part of like shooting the movie, I was kind of in like a daze,
Yeah.
like a trance.
Yeah.
You know, like, because so many weird things are going on in my head. Listen to the last 2 episodes if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I was just in a weird space. I mean, I feel that way about our whole Disneyland trip, too. Like I've mentioned, I keep trying to do a do-over.
Yeah.
And, like, I was going to do it for my birthday, but I just don't have time. But I feel like I was there, but because of the movie encroaching, I wasn't really plugged into it. And then I feel kind of like I was the same way on the set. Like, I feel like I was just floating through,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
getting, you know.
I feel like there was sort of something missing from you, but it almost worked because it's like you were using all of your focus to make sure that you got what you needed, and that you were thinking ahead for the next step and what we needed to do.
Yeah, I think it was just I'd been reduced to pure instinct.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Pure animal film instinct.
Yeah, so I guess it were. But yeah, there were many times where I'd be second and third guessing and be like, "Oh fuck, am I fucking this up?" And especially in the early on, of course, the first few days, you always think that. And I didn't want to let Lisa down. I didn't want to let Graham down. But after that first weekend, I think I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I still definitely feel fucking weird, but I'm good, and I feel like we're sticking the landing.
See, I just assumed that was like set Mel, because that was technically the first time I've worked on set with you.
Placeholders.
Yeah, you've worked on placeholders.
That's true, but Krister, you kind of shot that one, so I felt like I was more closely working with you, at least on that,
right.
and so for a lot of it. But you were right. But I felt like you were more producing when we were doing that versus being.
That was definitely the first time. Yeah, because the last thing I directed was 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it has the date at the bottom, because now I can remember.
Yeah. I will definitely say that was not the set Mel that I was used to.
Okay.
Like from placeholders, from psychic, from just not the same guy, and he's right that there was something missing, but I don't think, like you said, I don't think it hurt anything. But it was kind of strange. Like, it was just like, huh, okay. Because he had me second guessing things. So I'm like, is he good? Like, are we good? Is everything good?
Is he gonna snap at any moment?
I was like, what is going on? And I mean, I think we all kind of thought that at first, because we were all kind of just the first couple of days were on edge and making sure we weren't fucking up. Mm-hmm. But once we got past a certain point, it was like, okay, this is just how it's going to be, and we're fine. Let's just get going and get through it, Because I remember there was a couple times I'd be like, "You good?" And you were like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I was like, "Okay, cool." So, and we just dropped it.
I wasn't, but that's just what I told everyone.
Well, yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not, but what are you gonna do?
Right.
Didn't hear all the mumblings on the couch in the back.
Oh yeah. Brittany heard a lot of those.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. Now I wish I would have worn a mic.
Yeah.
To hear all the, to catch all the shit I was saying, like in my head, just to try to keep myself on an even keel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess from here on out, if I do any more movies, I guess I'm just going to have some sort of existential crisis before to make sure. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is how it's good. It becomes good. All right, well, I guess.
Well, so interesting question. Something I've wanted to ask you, because this was so personal in a way in the script, do you think that was a reason why it kind of affected you differently?
No, because I mean, just as much stuff is in Psychic Experiment.
That's true.
Yeah. What I can say to that is the parts where it really hit home.
Yeah.
Would actually make me feel better.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was more cathartic, like the whole, it's my fucking log line, Craig, like all that stuff, and then anything with Reagan, like it was. Any of the kid stuff was so hard to put together and shoot. It's tough to, it's tough for me, but it's tough in a way that's artistically fulfilling. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, this is honest. So it would kind of like shake me out of that. Okay. I still felt like garbage, but in a different way. Just kind of like being pulled through the ringer kind of emotionally.
Right.
So it would kind of shock me away. But I don't think aside from that, I don't think that really affected it one way or the other.
Okay. It was just something that was always in my head, because I'm wondering if it's just how personal this did get, in the script wise and everything else.
Yeah, no. What would always happen, like that day we did the phone call, or any of the, like when Graham and Lisa talk, like before their interview,
Yeah.
That stuff was when I would be like, okay, no matter what, I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
And this is something, of all the things, this is what I've put the most me into. Mm-hmm. So try and at least maybe not enjoy it, but, not get tripped up, not trip over my own feet.
Yeah, totally.
In my head about it. Like, you try to, take in the experience while it's happening, because it's pretty special,
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So yeah, I think a lot of that, in a weird way, it would kind of save me from just going in a weird, spiral. But yeah, Melanie said the same thing. She was like, yeah, because when she was on set with Reagan, she was like, I could tell you were like getting it done, but there was something going on.
Yeah.
Like there's something missing. So, yeah, I was like, well, I almost died, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. But I don't even know if it was just that.
Yeah.
It's a lot, because it's a lot of, I don't know, it's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it would not be there if I did another thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
No matter how good this turns out to be, or
Right.
I don't know if it's related to the people involved. I don't think it is. Because everybody was great, did what they were supposed to do. There weren't a lot of weird things I had to deal with, which
Yeah.
always saps my energy. I don't know why this was the perfect combination of things. And I don't even know if it's the project itself. It may just be me and where I'm at as a 43-year-old. It may not have anything to do with the movie itself. So, yeah, something I was still sort of struggling with, but now's the easy part, because I can just sit in a dark room by myself and
It's true.
put it together.
Right.
Mumble all you want.
Exactly. I do a lot too.
Yeah.
I do a lot.
Yeah.
And I know the people out there, like, when I'm editing and there are people here, I know they probably think I'm fucking nuts.
Oh yeah, their doors are locked too.
Yeah.
Their doors are
Yeah. Yeah, because I do mumble. And up at Cypher, because I'll edit up there if it's slow, and I know that they probably think I'm nuts too. They probably already did, but I'm sitting there and I'm just like, oh yeah, I need to, like really having conversations with myself.
Yeah.
But that's just how I work.
Yeah.
Even especially if there's no one there to hear.
Right.
That's just my process. But yeah, I should leave a camera and a mic on to catch it, and that should be like, that would be the running commentary track.
Yeah.
Just what my responses are.
Right.
Shit, I had something I was gonna say, but I fucking forgot. Yeah, I don't remember now. But continue saying good stuff about me. I like that part. Yeah. No, I was gonna say something about Lisa. Oh, Lisa fucking killed it. Duh. There's no surprise. But yeah, some of her stuff, it was like Graham too. I was like, man, I don't know. Back to just having, just a wealth of stuff. I was always like, it's hard to pick which one to use. I'm like, please let me get a camera fuck up or something, so I don't have to
delete.
Yeah. So that was bad.
Yeah.
Like that's the focus is weird on that one, but everything is just so good, and good in different ways.
Totally.
Subtly different ways. So yeah, it's again, half of directing, if not more, is done in the casting. So, and everybody knew exactly what to do. Like, tweaks were so minor. Everybody just like intuitively knew. Lisa, of course, like I wrote it for her, so it was all she was already halfway there, I guess. But just here's where it really came together for me. The day that, her big scene, I don't remember the number, but her big speech outside, and there's so many sound issues and fucking shit to deal with, and she kept getting a little frustrated, rightly so. She had to go in and out of this deep emotional stuff, but watching it and watching the raw footage, where there was a moment where she's like, we probably should just stop. I don't have it anymore. And then we're like, well, let's just try to get through it. And she's like, okay. And she's kind of like getting herself together. As soon as she starts, it's like if you put it back up against the previous take where we had to stop, seamless.
It doesn't look like,
Yeah.
Seamless.
You never know.
Like, even to where, like, what was going on, like with amount of tears in her eyes.
Yeah.
And that's the moment. Those are moments where I'm like, why has she not,
Right.
like what we've always said since
Yeah.
IMAGO, why has she not been, had more opportunities like this? Because she's fucking just knocking them out of the park every time.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Just sort of like, I guess fun / not fun, like having to pick and choose, because that's where a lot of my editing time went.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, which way do I want to go with this? Because all of it is playing real and all of it is valid, and I would have to A/B a lot of stuff, you know, and then maybe do a victory lap and then come back and look at it again to figure out, you know, which one I wanted. So yeah, good place to be. I assume we'll be. I think we'll probably be done by the spring. It looks like that's what everybody's sort of aiming for.
Nice.
So that's also nice to have an accelerated time frame, and that everybody is like, I don't feel pressured by it. I actually am excited by it because everybody's ready to. They're excited about it and just ready to get it done. Instead of just like, okay, you do your thing and, you know, live with this for 3 months and I'll get back to you. And, you know, what we've had to do every other time.
Yeah. Or live with this for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or where it's not a priority. Where it's like it's a priority to everybody involved.
Yeah.
This time. You know, for once. Seemingly for once. But probably for once.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, when are you doing your next ones? Your next ones?
Like mine or like
both of you?
I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping soon. I'm supposed to be having a meeting with an investor. So it's really weird how I met him, but yeah, this guy from McAllen just really is interested in investing in movies. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. I mean, I've got 3 ideas.
Weird hobby.
Yeah, I mean, he's like this land person. I keep doing that.
You're giving too many clues as this person's identity.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop.
You need to pull back on that.
pull
Like,
reins
you
back.
notice when I post shit on Facebook, I only put and the producers.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
because I know that's exactly what's going to happen. Because it happens to me, and I don't have money.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and it always goes back to like everything we've talked about, like how are these people getting money? You know.
Yeah.
And that's probably the reason why. So yeah, I'll pull back. But yeah, so I'm supposed to have a meeting with this investor, and we'll see what happens. See if he's interested and if he bites. I think when we first talked in through text, it sounds like he wants to do 2, possibly 3 movies. So we'll see. Maybe that becomes a reality, and if it does, that'd be really cool. But we'll see what happens. So, and then I'm going back to LA for a commercial. So are you. And then there's a bunch of other stuff like in the air right now. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it comes to fruition. So.
As always.
Yep.
Gotta love that up in the air stuff.
Oh yeah.
Always. Yeah. I don't know. Personally, I mean, I'm still working on the documentary. It kind of hit a hiatus for a little while because I came back from my first shoot after funding the whole thing and decided, I'm going to work and try to make up some of that money so I don't have a heart attack. And I got just super bogged down with work, and so I'm trying to get one more interview done before the end of the year, and then start putting together all my packages to try to raise funding for the rest of it. I would still love to have it I'd love to have it completely shot by spring, because I don't think there's that much left to do. I fortunately got a lot of really good stuff when I did my first round, so you know, and then start assembling it and having rough cuts by summer would be my ultimate goal. But yeah, that's other than that, going to California again.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, actually, I'll go back to me real quick. We are going back to California. What's happening when we go to California?
Well, when Mel joins us in California, we will be finishing sound on IMAGO. I won't say it just yet. Although I have a feeling with how many times we spun around the room, if you slow it down enough, you might actually see the poster back there in the back.
Probably.
Just saying.
It's like the 3 men and a baby.
But yeah, so we're finishing sound, which will be awesome, and actually getting to put that thing to bed.
Yeah, that's
and
the
release
last, the last thing, and that is what, the 15th, 15th, 16th, or 16th, 17th.
Yeah, 16th, 17th, which we actually have to talk to Brittany about as well, but we'll do that after we get done with the podcast.
Surprise!
Yeah.
My plane ticket's already booked, so we can't change the day. Well, really, it was like, when is Greg available? Because that's kind of what what happened for those listening. I guess we would have mentioned this, but when we were initially trying to close in on finishing that, the initial dates we got from both our sound guy and our colorist were, I think, was like June.
Yeah, it was June.
And then that was right around when Mystery Spot got greenlit. So I was like, well, that's not going to happen. They were like, well, how about Labor Day?
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's when we're shooting the movie. So.
Yeah. So
and then they're both, they had to go, they're busy, so they had to go work on stuff and come back. But we've kind of been working online this whole time, back and forth when we could. And that was tough because I would have to be working on a Mystery Spot cut and then have to force myself to watch an IMAGO mix.
Yeah.
But because your brain just gets fried in that way. And you're like, I don't want to look.
I can't do. I can't do two.
It's just not going to work. Yeah, you were working on set.
Yeah, I was trying to get a movie just get production done.
Yeah.
Which that was crazy.
We'll come back.
I figured we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we finally have dates.
Yes, and
thanks to Greg and James, but just the fact that he's been. Did you see his last email where he's like, "Yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna scrub the whole last 20 minutes and start from scratch and make it better."
Yeah.
I was like,
but I'm like, all right, Greg, thanks. Fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, because he's like, I've gotten 10 years better at doing this stuff, so let me do,
And I mean, honestly, like, James just did a killer job. Like, oh my God. I mean,
our colorist.
Our colorist looks amazing.
Yeah.
And so did Greg. I mean, from the first initial idea of the movie, and now I can only imagine what he's going to come up with now. It's going to be awesome to finally put a pin in IMAGO / soon to be named a different thing that we already said, but
Yeah, I'm so ready to just send those first screener links out.
Jesus.
And be like, here you go.
Yeah,
it's out. It's ready to,
Yeah.
Let's do something with this. Please. And now, what's funny about this is that we can more than likely do a double feature.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the time comes.
Yeah.
And it makes sense on a lot of levels because Lisa Debbie, Yeah. So, look for that to happen. So, hopefully, Brittany, you can. What are we talking to her about? Whether or not she can go?
No. She's there.
Okay.
It's more of she just has getting her home at a certain time is what I was going to talk about.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
No, I'll be there.
Are you driving or flying?
Flying.
Okay.
But she was going to drive back with us, but now that we added...
It's okay. I actually already bought a round trip ticket because I know both of you already, so that's what makes me laugh about it.
I've been sitting on a ticket back. I'm like, oh.
No, it's fine. It was making me nervous because originally when y'all were going to be driving back, I was maybe going to get home on my mom's birthday at the night, and I was like, I probably should be there because I'm leaving the next day again.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to come home because I'm actually going from Dallas straight from there to California to come back for 2 days and then leaving again. So I wanted to give myself an extra day to just not do anything or catch up on editing. So I'm flying back anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. We don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah. I might end up having to do the same thing. We'll see. Because in addition to all this, I've mentioned it, but I have a job now. So I mean, I have for a while. I have this whole time, but I just don't know. It's going to be tough. I'm trying though. They won't listen to this, so. But we'll see. I would rather kind of just take my time and ride back, to be honest, and let my brain. But we'll see. It's so close to everything else.
Well, that's what helped me make my decision. Is Mel's gonna be with him. It's okay. They can have their time. And now, if you ditch him, I'm gonna feel really bad.
Well, I mean, it's not like he hasn't done that on his own.
Oh God, how many times?
We need to get you a robot or something.
Yeah. Just somebody to ride with me.
Yeah. What would you like to complain about today?
Yeah, no shit.
Recording.
Yeah, just record me the whole time.
On that note,
Oh God.
so another reason that we've had trouble, or it's been difficult to like figure out dates to finish all this stuff.
Yeah.
You've been working constantly, not just since Mystery Spot, but I feel like before you came straight from that to like when did the change start? I can't remember now.
So I think I was, if I remember, I'd have to go back and look, but like if I remember right, I think I was off for about 2 weeks before Mystery Spot. But what was I doing?
Was it the one that you were working like with Joaquin and everyone on that I wasn't on, where you met them?
Oh yeah, Boy Makes Girl.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which for the love of God, I wanted you there because we needed somebody for continuity, but whatever. They just weren't. They didn't have the money. So there was that. Then I came home. And it was during that you called me and were like, hey, so Mystery Spot's greenlit. And I was like, okay, so we got to get started on that. So that's where it started, which was like, was that May?
Yeah.
It was May because then I came home, we had my birthday party, and then like we just kind of hit the ground running on everything else. But yeah, so it was that, then Mystery Spot, then Caps, and then it's such a blur.
Your comedy.
The Adventures of Rahul, which was kind of like this web series that's actually going to be pretty fucking funny. And then the last one, which was down in like South Texas, like McAllen, Harlingen area.
Right.
So 4 realistically back to back, but 5 if you include Boy Makes Girl. But that really, I was home for a little bit before we started Mystery. So
yeah.
Literally Mystery Spot the next week I was home, but I was on the phone constantly talking about Caps, trying to figure all that out. And then we drove out that next Monday, if I remember right.
Which one was that?
That was the second horror film.
Oh,
so, like it was
in
like
Sacramento.
a sequel. Yeah, in Sacramento.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Placerville, if you want to be more exact.
Yeah.
Snowed on.
Where we actually got snowed out, which isn't a first for us,
No.
but we got snowed out in the weirdest time to get snowed out. It was just bizarre. It was like it was raining, then all of a sudden it turned into hail, then all of a sudden it just turned into light fluffy snow, and it was like, well, we have to shut down because nobody here knows how to.
Well, I
drive
just thought it
snow
was
or has
funny
vehicles
because
to do
the
so.
director was like, "Oh, it won't stick. I've been here many times."
And it stuck.
And then like 10 minutes pass, and there's like 3 inches of snow on the
Yeah.
ground, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I know like no one should say this, but continuity's not going to match anymore. Like, we can't do anything."
So there's snow?
Yeah, all of a sudden. It'd have been different if there was rain, but it turned into snow, and I was like, there's no way that's going to happen. So
Yeah.
that one was a beast in it of itself.
This is the California one?
Yeah.
Sacramento?
Yeah, the Sacramento one.
Yeah.
It's not that it was bad, it was just tough situations. Like, we were just putting some really crazy, like, and I kept saying, I was like, guys, this is a horror film, like, with a lot of, special effects. It's not just, we're not just, like, it's not like Mystery Spot where it's more of a thriller and, like, it's written to be a low-budget film, like, and in one place and, like, can be contained.
Yeah.
This is like, we're out in the middle of the woods, we're over here, we're over there, it was just really, really hard to do in the amount of time. Now, I will say this, and Brittany will probably argue with me, but I broke my own record on how many pages we've shot in one day.
I don't argue anything.
Well, I'm just saying, it was
There's some technicalities.
There's
but
technicalities,
I'll let you have
let's
it.
unpack
I'll let
this.
you have it.
Yeah.
But so originally, my original record was 15 pages in one day. I have now exceeded that by 20. We've now done 20 pages in one day with 1 hour of overtime.
Okay.
So I was kind of like, holy shit, we actually just did that. And, Brittany was like, well, I mean.
So what's the asterisk?
Yeah.
So, like, 3 or so of those pages we had already shot half of the scene of. We just needed to basically come back and get the reverse shot. So to me, I'm like, we didn't fully shoot like a 3-page scene. We only shot half of that. But yes, I credited that amount of pages technically in my notes, but if you were really to say like, oh, we shot a 3-page scene and you had 4 setups, well, we only shot like 1 or 2 of those setups. So to me, it's like half the scene.
Huh.
We shot 20 pages, basically. And that was also the day that the craziest part of that day was Ryan went down.
Oh.
So Ryan got super sick. Like,
oh, yeah.
It was like...
He did. They went to
was it? Was it strep? I don't think
no,
it was strep.
it wasn't strep, but it was some kind of like viral throat thing, which I had been wearing his jacket for like 3 days, so that was fun.
And so basically, he went down. And he was like, I don't know what you guys are gonna do, but I've got to go to the doctor. Like, I can't just keep doing this.
Yeah.
So guess who held the boom pole?
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm literally like trying to call the roll. I'm like, roll sound. Oh wait, that's me. Like, and it was like at the end of the night, it was fucking freezing.
That was my biggest complaint.
Yeah.
And probably, honestly, for me, one of my only complaints of that is how cold it was. Apparently, I just haven't learned my lesson, and I don't pack properly for cold. And I think you'd think my tolerance would go up, right? Like all the Colorado films, all the snow films, but I think my body is like, F that, I'm not doing cold anymore. So if it drops below like 60 degrees, I'm just shivering the entire time. And it was, maybe like 75 the first day or two we were there, and then it dropped, and like we said, it snowed on us one day. That's how cold it was, and I had a hoodie.
And we weren't, and I mean, the thing about that was, but I mean, speaking of that, like, we looked up the weather, because I did it too. Like, we looked up the weather, and it wasn't supposed to get cold, like, at all. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, within
30 degrees.
Within 2 days of us driving, it was like, holy shit, it's completely changed, and now it's going to be freezing.
Yeah.
On an almost all outdoor movie.
Yeah, and like, not to mention, where half of it was on the water, like right off the water.
That water
so
was cold.
The wind would come off the water, and basically you would just freeze.
Yeah.
It's like Buffalo,
Yeah.
So, yeah, like literally, we called rap that day, and we had a fire going, and I was like by the fire, miking people, pretty much booming people, and literally, I walked inside, and I was shivering, like I could not get warm. And I remember we get in the truck, and like people are trying to talk to me, and I'm not responding because I'm just pissed off and I'm frozen. Like I literally can't move. And I'm sitting there just trying to warm, and they kept talking, kept trying to talk to me. And finally, Brittany just turned around. She's like, "Guys, he's trying to get warm. Leave him the fuck alone. Like, just leave him alone."
Yeah.
So, because it was fucking. I mean, I was cold.
Yeah.
It was insane. So, but yeah, I mean, that was probably the cold. The weather was. And that was the thing, and then just trying to make the days with the crazy amount of special effects, because I mean, this is supposed to be like a slasher film. Like, it's, if you don't nail those, like, it's almost pointless. I mean, like, try to shoot Jason without actually having like a machete kill or something like that. If you don't nail it, it's pointless.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the point I kept trying to hit the whole time. I was like, guys, we need a couple more days, like, because you're not giving enough time to these special effects. And they were like, no, we have to do it in 12. We have to do it in 12. And I'm like, okay, well, if we miss a special effect, don't look at me. Like, because I've said it since day one.
No, we only did 11 shoot days.
Oh, 11, yeah.
It was only 11
days. Yeah, because
days.
it was 12, and then they basically were like, hey, we have to go down to 11. I'm like, okay, great. So we'll go down to 11.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean,
it was insane. But I mean, we got everything, so it's already actually got a rough edit, pretty much.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, it needs a couple pickups, but nothing major.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I already
there's
know
that.
what they are.
Yeah, I do too, for sure. So there was that one, and then I went back down to LA. Brittany flew home because I was trying to get Brittany on that one in LA as well, but it just they didn't have money for a script either.
And now this next one was
Adventures of Rahul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is like a web series. It's all about an Indian guy who's trying to become a rapper, pretty much. It's a comedy, obviously, but it has some serious tones.
Why is that obvious?
Well, no, I mean, that's not how I meant it, but whatever.
We just triggered some people.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. But basically, so it has some serious undertones in it, which was kind of interesting. And like talking with the director and stuff, and kind of like feeling him out. He's like, there's some things that I wrote in this, not so much that I was trying to be a rapper, but that like I was doing other things that my family didn't want me to do, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why he wrote this, and they kind of put it the way it is. And it's funny because they were telling me like they had people reading the script, and like everybody's like, oh, you can't be this vulgar, and they were like, and I kind of looked at them, I was like, you kind of have to be for this script, like it doesn't make sense for it not to be. And they were like, yeah, there's exact feelings we had, like it doesn't make sense, it needs to be vulgar, it needs to have those moments, or it's just it's not going to sell, it's not going to be funny. And I was like, well, cool, at least we're on the same page. But yeah, that was a fun shoot. Actually, the DP for that, he actually was a cam op on the new Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
So he was talking to me about that, and he was a really cool guy, like very easy to work with. And I mean, most of our days were 10-hour days, if not less than that.
Yeah.
So it was a fun shoot, and we had a great time, and we laughed, and you know, at the end of it, they were all happy, and everything was great. So that was that one. That one really I had no complaints about. There was nothing really crazy. Then we go and do
Which that was the one you just finished?
Yeah, that was the last one, which honestly I keep looking back and I'm like, the shoot was crazy, don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of my issues were that I was just so tired. Like there was no break. Like mentally I was frustrated just because I hadn't been home and I didn't know what was going on. Mind you, all the shit going on with my dad and everything else that was going on. So it's just like I wanted to be home, and it wasn't. I don't think the shoot wasn't that bad. Like
it just felt like
it just felt like it because there was so much going on in my brain.
Right.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, like we had our problems, we had our issues, there were things that weren't taken care of that should have been taken care of, but it wasn't anything that we as a team could not succeed and get over, you know what I mean? Because we did. And I mean, we had an 11-year-old pretty much the entire shoot, and we wrapped pretty much early every day. So, but that was also another one of those movies where it's like, I was like, guys, we can't do this like in 16 days. Like you've got too much going on, you know. And
it felt like you were gone for a month.
I was, because they wanted me to go out there for prep.
Oh, I was like, how long is this movie?
Yeah, they wanted me out there for prep, so I was out there for a month. Which honestly, looking back on it, a lot of that prep I could have done at home. There was no reason for me to be there. Like there were things that literally could have been handled.
But would they have been handled if you weren't there?
No, that's the next question, you know. So in some ways I'm happy I was there because things were taken care of as they should have been. But then there were other times I was like, I could have done this meeting on Skype, or I could have done this, you know, this could have been an email, literally, you know.
Yeah.
Not something I had to sit down in front of everybody and talk about. So, I mean, you know, the crew was great, you know. The director, she's awesome, you know. We had a great time. Even for being understaffed and knowing what we were having to deal with, like, we still pulled off a movie that it's going to be good, you know. It was just one of those that was just like, holy crap, you know.
Yeah. And where's that one going to end up?
I don't know. I
thought you knew for some reason.
No, I have no idea. I mean, I know they have some interested partners that want to look at it, or parties, I should say, that want to look at it, but I don't know what the for sure thing is yet as far as what that one's going to be. I know she's in LA right now, but she's flying to New York, I think, in the week to go sit down and start editing with her editor. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, that was an interesting one. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't it wasn't Mystery Spot. It wasn't, it wasn't something I was like, holy crap, this is awesome,
Yeah.
But it was good. I mean, I don't want to talk shit, like, because it wasn't as terrible as I'm probably making it sound like, but it was one of those things where it was just like a lot of things that should have been taken care of that weren't, and we ended up having to kind of scramble. But as a team, at least as far as below the line and crew wise, we handled it and excelled and got past it.
Yeah.
Mystery Spot has set a bar now.
Gosh, yeah.
For other films that we work on. So.
I would like to say that's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I seem to have a knack for doing that. But here's the thing, like, I never feel like I can benefit. You know what I mean? Like, I never feel like I could be like, I can enjoy it. Everything comes with some weird caveat. Because people often are like, oh man, this is amazing. This is the best thing I've ever worked on. Like, when we wrapped, and I'm like, yeah, all I wanted to do was blow my brains out every day. So, of course, I wouldn't say that to them. But that's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, having nothing to do with the movie, it was just weird, just the experience,
Yeah.
So, but I'm really glad that everybody else feels that way about it and about the experience. And I have, there were a couple of people that had either come from or went to other movies right after, and they would just be like, man.
Mm-hmm.
They, email me or text me and be like, God damn it, I wish I was back with you guys. I'm like, yeah, I still want to blow my brains out. So.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed. But like that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And Lisa and Graham, like, they all said the same thing. So, it does count for something. So, I had another thought that just flew out of my head.
I definitely will say that I do not ever think I'm gonna do that kind of run again, like a 4-movie back to back. Like,
that's
there's something to that I now understand why you don't do that to yourself. Like, because towards the end it was more of a, I'm just ready to get the fuck out of here, and I'm ready to go home,
right,
and not that I don't like these people, but at the same time, it's like, I just want to be home. Like, I'm tired of fucking not having my bed, the amenities that you want,
Yeah.
So, like, it just got to a point where I was just like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah, and what's another thing that I've sort of, because of the way I felt during the movie and, like, just going through the process, it's one thing that I'm thankful for. All that, it's kind of it's rewired me a little bit to where I don't feel like I have to do that. Like, it doesn't scratch some itch, or I'm like, I have to be on a production,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just not worth it. And also, I don't. I don't feel like and so I'm trying to figure out how to word it. It's almost like I don't care about a lot of the shit that was important, because it's just not that it's not that important to me anymore, because I realize how little it goes towards making me happy, or how unhappy it makes me in certain situations.
Yeah.
And I also, like, I've concurrently with doing this movie, like I keep saying, like, I got this weird deal where I kind of got everything I wanted. I kind of set up a pretty good life for myself that has nothing to do with shooting a movie.
Yeah.
So kind of like, I'm not worried about whether or not this movie gets me another movie. I'm really not out to impress anybody other than the people that I did the movie with, and do right by them.
Right.
And maybe make the money back, and then some of the person that felt, good enough to give me the chance to do it. But that's actually pretty nice. I'm like, it doesn't really matter. I don't. it's a lot. It's made me a lot happier about being at this point in the process than I was on anything else, because all that shit was so tied into it. Like, oh, if this doesn't turn out outright, it's never going to lead to this or X, Y, Z, or what if. Because that doesn't really matter anyway. But I got a cool Japanese poster out of it. That's about it.
Yeah. That was pretty crazy how that all kind of turned out.
Oh yeah. That's So the way I got this poster, you can still see it on the wide. Yeah. Who tagged you?
So it's a buddy. of
Yeah,
mine.
it was via Chris. Yeah.
It's a buddy of mine that I grew up with in high school that found me on Facebook, and him and I were big horror nerds and just sci-fi nerds as well.
Yeah.
In high school, and so we nerded out a lot, and then we kind of reconnected, and he's like, "Holy shit, you're actually doing movies?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I can't remember if he tagged me or he knows this guy. But
Yasuhiro Ito.
Yasuhiro Ito is his name.
We talk a lot on Facebook now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He tagged me and said, "Is this the movie you worked on?" And that's when I tagged you, and I was like, "Hey, this is crazy. You need to look at this."
Yeah.
And then it kind of just started this whole thing, and I guess he mailed you that.
Basically him, I talked to him and I was like, holy shit, what's, because when in the tag he was like, it's called the Scanner Wars. They made it kind of like a quasi sequel to Scanners, which I'm honored. Great, I'll take it. But it's wasn't my intention, Japan. Don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to pretend to be Cronenberg, but I talked to him about it and was like, hey, how did you get it? What's it available on? And he's like, oh, it's been out since 2013 on DVD.
Yeah,
I have a copy. Here's what it looks like. And so in getting that info from him, I was able to go to Amazon Japan, which I've done before. I did it for Closet Space.
Yeah,
and you just have to run it through a translator because otherwise you have no idea.
Yeah.
And so I just found it on Amazon Japan. I was ready for it to take 3 weeks to ship to me, but it came in 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, Amazon Japan.
Yeah.
And so I got a copy, and then I just scanned in the cover and made the poster. So, and then when I started talking to Yasuhiro, he was like, oh man, I'm going to go check out Closet Space. So he went and found Japanese Closet Space and posted about it. So,
that's right.
Yeah. And so it's pretty cool. It's nice to, and then he had, in his thread of having talked about watching them, there are so many other Japanese people that jump on and they're like, oh, I saw that too, I liked it,
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna go check it out, and then they'll check back in and be like, man, I checked it, I found it, and I like it, Nothing negative, because I was ready for it. Of course, there are always gonna be people that complain, which is fine, but everybody was into it. I'm like, man, okay, well, at least it's not for nothing, I'm not gonna get rich off of it, but there are people on the other side of the planet that are into the shit that I'm doing, that I don't even know, that it's, I knew when we sold it, I just didn't know when it was coming out and what they're going to change the name to and all that. And I did, I had a translation app and I translated all the text. Mm-hmm. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I saved it in a document. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing really egregious, but they do mention David Cronenberg quite a bit.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, ooh, you make somebody mad. If I were someone buying it, I might be pretty mad about that. But I'll take it. He's one of my sinning daddies for sure. So he's partially responsible. So that's pretty awesome. That was a night that happened. As I was getting in the midst of post-production stuff, so it was a nice little jolt. Hey, it matters. It's not going to go out and fall on deaf ears or blind eyes. People are going to be into it, and I really like that art because it's very Akira-ish.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
I know that's a Japanese guy. Of course, it has to be, but it does look like Denton. It 100% looks like Denton. So
it was crazy how that went down for sure. But I was like, oh, well, that's cool. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year, I think. So.
Yep. I am, I'm ready. Because, we haven't, what's interesting is people keep bugging. Hey, I don't say bugging. I don't want to talk shit. But people are like, hey man, why isn't Mystery Spot on IMDb yet? You're like, I need to update my, and I'm like, well, it's because we haven't done a press release about it, not just because we're trying to get it done, and then we'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's what they base it on, the first story. But people are coming at me like the movie's not coming out or something. I'm like,
calm down.
Calm down. We just finished, like not even 8 weeks ago.
Pump the brakes.
So that's what I had to realize. I was like, oh, we haven't even released anything about minus what we talk about online or whatever. But there's been no press release of it. So there's still all that to happen. And Lisa's talked about it here and there, just like at conventions that she's done and stuff, like minor. Like I'll get little pings and hits, and people ask me about it from that. She did a podcast that was, of course, Freddie related, but she mentioned it, and you could tell there was some renewed interest that came our way.
Nice.
So the floodgates will open in that way too. So that'll be kind of neat to see. But with as quickly as we're trying to get through it and the target we're trying to hit, I mean, all that may just kind of happen all at once. So, which would be fine.
Great.
Yep. So, Brittany?
I don't really have anything else that else.
You know what? I'll ask you this on camera. You don't have to answer, but I'm just curious if you heard anything, and I kept meaning to email you about it. Mm-hmm. But all that shit that happened within the last couple of months about Distribber imploding.
Oh yeah, I got a letter in the mail.
Yeah. So what?
I don't really know. I mean, the letter was weirdly worded. It's interesting because I've been kind of meaning to send them sort of in a way, cease and desist letter because they just completely fell through on everything, they promised, like most distributors. Yeah. And,
but not the ones that are going to buy Mystery Spot.
Yeah. But, they just... I just was trying to get the rights back because, from what I could tell, they were taking everything. I know personally things were bought and rented from Amazon and iTunes, and I never saw any of it. Yeah. Which was not what was supposed to be in the what's not in the contract. So anyway, but I'm just so far beyond that film that
I understand.
Caring versus the amount of energy I wanted to put into it just sort of all fell by the wayside. So I kind of forgot about most of it, and then it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago that I got the letter in the mail, and it just was kind of saying that they were bought by another company. But as far as how they were wording, like what the rights to things that were bought, whether they retained them or whether they were like sent back to us, I kept the letter. And I just feel like if I ever need it for anything, I'll bring it back up. But I just don't care anymore. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. I don't I'm just beyond it. So but I understand. It was not surprising to me because early on when they were trying to send me like the results of how you could log in and see how things were being rented and purchased on all of the platforms it was on. Right. Super cool platform. And it had a certain dollar amount at the bottom that was like, this is how much that you've gotten this month. And then when I got a check for it that was like a 16th of that, and I went back to try to say something, they were like, oh well, that's just that program's in like beta testing, it's not actually real. And all that stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that it just completely went down because they were very shady in all of their practices. Yeah.
Always fun.
It was a cool thought.
Yeah. It's just disappointing to know, to kind of know that that's your fate, sort of. Yeah. No matter what happens with, you're always going to end up in some compromising position like that.
Yeah. If it were, more, I don't want to say if it were my film, because it kind of was my film, but if it, if I liked it better.
No, I understand 100% what you're saying.
If you could.
I just still feel like there's so much negativity around it. Yeah. That I just don't want to go back to it because I have pushed forward and can do better. So I just want to kind of look forward at this point. But yeah, it is discouraging because which of course is funny because I think back then how naive I was to think that it was going to be this really cool new thing, only for me to be very cynical about it later.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, it is. So it is discouraging, but to an extent.
Yeah. So whenever anyone says anything to me where they're like excited about anything, film related usually, my response is always some variation of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I give you one better. It wasn't necessarily film related, but I doubt that anyone's going to hear this. That it matters too for the story, but. I was filming at a school recently, and they were interviewing kids, and I found myself, they'd ask them questions about, like, how they were going to change the world and all this stuff, and I'm like, bullshit. Like, you're not doing any of that, which I thought, after the fact, I was like, obviously didn't say any of that out loud, but it was like, am I really that cynical? All these kids have these, like, hopes and dreams, and I'm like, it's not going to happen. Sorry, kid.
Yep, 100%. 100%. It's just what happens.
Yep.
Film will do that to you.
Yes, it will.
And it's like I've gone through so many versions of that, the 7 stages of grief, like with IMAGO. That's another reason why I'm like, okay, we gotta finish it finally, because I don't want to end up in another, like, where I go through another cycle of that, because there were times where I'm like, fuck that movie, I don't even care.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. I've got other things I got to worry about. We're so far beyond it. The money that I spent on it, I've already, you know what I mean? It's already lost.
Yeah.
Lost. I've already absorbed the cost of it. So, but the fact that, maintain a relationship with Lisa and Debbie, and their stuff is among my favorite things in the movie, and just how the opportunity with Sadie like re-energized me too. Like it was like, okay, we could, and then the new music, it's like all these things that were kind of like breathed new life into it, and now it's a totally different movie. But yeah, I definitely, I was thinking about it as it seems like we're finally closing in on getting it done. Just thinking about how there were months where I was like, I don't even care, just bury it. And because it'd probably end up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully not, but you know what I mean? The fate that every movie ends up.
Yeah, I mean.
So you get dark like that, and then you're like, well, what is it? I'm going to spend all this time and extra money on it, and then what is it going to be worth?
Right.
But then stuff happens that kind of breaks you through that, and you're like, well, maybe no, maybe it'll still get some sort of weird release or whatever, but now just getting it done in this form is worth it.
Yeah.
And it's weird how the industry has changed. Well, not weird, it's been 10 years. How the industry has changed beneath our feet again.
Yeah.
To where the opportunities are almost better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, there have definitely been times that I've thought about it and just was like, I just don't even know anymore. Like, will it ever see the light of day? Who knows? I mean, people would ask me, so what's going on with IMAGO? And I'm like, I don't know. We'll see,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, really, that's where it was. Like, what was it, 3 years of visual effects that we'd maybe see a shot here or there,
Yeah.
And it just got to a point where I was like, do I give up and just figure out another movie to make?
Right.
Because, I mean, at this point, it's like I've had enough experience that I'm sure I could make another movie that probably would be better than this.
Of course. I mean, how can you not? It's been a decade.
Right. So, I mean, it's like, it's just like looking back on it, I was like, fuck. But then at the same time, like, I was like, I kind of need to get this done for Natalie, for Lisa, for Debbie, for just all these people that deserve to have this movie out.
Right, and the work that we put into it.
Yeah. I mean, there are some people that worked on this movie that I'm like, hey, fuck off. Like, I don't really want to ever talk to you.
Yeah, but that's every movie.
Yeah.
Except Mystery Spot.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the first one.
Right. But I mean, like, it's not for those people that we're trying to get this movie finished and out. Like, it's for the people that actually put heart and care and wanted to actually see a good product. Yeah.
And you do realize that even though your movie hasn't come out, you've still done so much more than all those people that always ask you when your movie's coming out, right?
I know.
Just so that's not lost on you, because that's part of why it this last year, that's part of why it took.
Yeah.
Because you were constantly working.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just kind of, it's like it beats me up in different ways. You know what I mean? Like, there's times where I'm like, fuck, it's great that I'm working. It's great that I'm busy, you know, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, I haven't been able to direct anything, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's like, sometimes I kind of worry. I'm like, fuck, am I going to have the same issue, you know, like you had, where it's like, I'm going to kind of get into this, like, where I want to direct, but then it's like, we get to that point, and it's like, fuck, am I fucking this up? Do I really want to do this? You know, like, that kind of thing. Like, am I going to get to that point, or is it going to be kind of different? I don't know, you know, because I've, not that you haven't trudged through a lot, but I've also trudged since the point of view cutting ties and being like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I've been kept going and trudging more, and it's like, there's some movies, man, that I'm like, this is soul sucking. Like, your soul doesn't exist anymore when you get out of this movie. Like, I remember there was one movie, this is probably a year and a half ago, that I got off of, and I needed a month just to kind of get my brain back to normal, and just being like, oh, this is like, okay, so this is how I'd function, you know? So I don't know. I mean, you know, and I want to direct. I do. I want to make more movies. It's just, how? How do we find the money? You know, how do we get investors that are not gonna, I mean, it's the same shit we've always talked about. Like, I don't need to keep doing this. But like, yeah, it's just all those things in my head, you know? So,
yeah.
And, you know, then you have people come back to you and like, or, you know, some stupid comments made that you're like, really? Like, what have you done? You know, like, where are you at? You know?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's part of the thing that just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't care. You can have it if you want it. You couldn't even get it anyway. But, you know, it's not, none of that matters. None of that matters.
And I'm not saying this like I don't enjoy what I do, because I totally do. Like, I enjoy it. It's just one of those things where, like, once again, I'm at the point where I've done just too much, and my brain's still recovering, you know? Yeah. So it's like, some of that is just me being exhausted and needing to just get it out and recuperate, you know? Yeah. And re-energize myself. So, but yeah, lessons learned. Yep. So. Yep.
Indeed. Well, hopefully the next time. Well, I don't know. We may even record while we're in California.
Possible.
Maybe. The next time we do this, hopefully, either we'll be in the middle of finishing IMAGO or done with it. Yeah. And we can kind of talk a little. I mean, just dig in a little more about that. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I wouldn't even know where to start. Yeah. Because it's been like 3, maybe 4 different movies. You know?
Yeah, there's been so many iterations. It's not even funny.
Yeah. So we can talk more about that, and it'll be interesting to have that, because it's not something I think about daily. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe lately because we're trying to get it done, but it's not something I would think about daily during that time. But it'll be weird to not have it around. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like your weird kid that lives in the basement. Yeah. You see him sometimes. It's then when he finally moves out, you're like, what? Yeah. Where'd Chad go?
Something's missing.
It's kind of like postpartum depression a little bit. Yeah. Like, it's gone now. What do we do with it? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting, to say the least, when we actually do get it finished. And that may be a cool thing to throw on the bonus, is like, just, hey, these are like 3 different iterations of the movie.
Thought about that, like doing having different cuts, because we have them all still.
Yeah, here's the PlayStation 3 graphics. Here's the PlayStation 2 graphics.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, I mean, that's...
Here's where Omar kicked the box to the left. Yeah. Here's where Omar kicked the box to the right.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, and it seems like I'm like not excited, but I am. I'm thoroughly excited. Like, I'm excited to get it done, excited to see it finished.
Oh yeah, now I don't know if you saw this, but Sean, he's married, right?
Yeah, and he's
pregnant. He just had the baby. They just had the baby. So So he has, in that span of time,
Had a kid.
found a wife, settled down, had a kid.
Well, and not to mention all the people we've lost in that time.
Oh yeah. Christian, Danielle, Paul.
Yep.
There's somebody else.
There's one other. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody. Yeah, just crazy.
Yeah.
10 years.
Well, it's
change.
it's a decade. So
yeah,
I mean,
10 years can change a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it'd be nice to put that one to bed.
Yep.
See what happens with it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. Unless you have something to add, Brittany.
Not
No?
that I can think of.
No, you sure?
Not for this one.
Oh,
That
wait.
that totally sounds like it. No, I
yeah,
just
what was
meant-
that?
Yeah.
That was
What's
that
the
was-
lead in there?
That's me not knowing how. It's just me being awkward on camera. So.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we captured it.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that's it. Enjoy the new video aspect. Like I was mentioning, I spend a lot of time messing with YouTube and algorithms and yada, 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 like for one of my other lives. So why not start doing it for my own channel, because that I've had for almost as long as IMAGO, probably longer, 11, 12 years.
Say longer, yeah.
There's stuff that's on there. So I think by the end of the year, I'm going to put all the placeholder stuff up because, again, that stuff, never hear from that guy. So fuck it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to put it up
Yeah.
and just have it easily accessible.
Can we go back and do my episode and actually release it?
I guess.
Wow. Wow.
I should have had the camera on you. But yeah, I forget that. We never finished it?
No, because of sound.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I'm sure. You know what? I talked to Greg about it several times, and he said
Okay.
that he would. Now it's just a matter of finding time to do it. But yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
And then I was trying to figure out how to end it, but do it cheap animation, but yeah, I'll do something funny. But yeah, I'm gonna put those up on my YouTube channel as well, and then hopefully keep doing this. Because now we actually have things to talk about.
Yeah.
Like this time last year, this time 6 months ago,
Yeah.
I have no idea
Uh,
of any of the things
No.
that were gonna happen. So
no.
here we are.
It's a weird spin
Yeah,
as the camera spins. Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, literally.
So who knows what the next 6 months or year 43 to 44 will bring. So, all right. Well, we'll see and talk to you next time.
Adios.
See ya.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you are into more content from us, make sure you click like, click subscribe, click the bell to be notified when we put up more stuff. I'm going to try to do it on a regular basis. We've got a couple things coming out over the next few months, so hopefully there'll be a steady flux of things to talk about. And in the meanwhile, check out these videos. You might be into some of the other stuff. If you're watching this on Facebook, there's probably nothing in there, so just look at the posters in the background.